Hello, everybody. I'll be right with you. What's going on, everybody? I'll be right with you. Let me know if you can hear me okay. See me, not see me okay. I'm not on yet. But how are you guys? Trying to put everything in order, of course. Hope all is well with everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? Why isn't that coming up? Oh, this is driving me nuts. Sorry, guys. Make sure my mic is working. That's not what I want. Okay, good. Thank you, Ron. Whew. All right. Let me go ahead and get this party started.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.
What is going on? How are you? Look at the camera, Missy. Telling you. I keep looking up at my old camera. So it's like, you know. How is everybody? How you doing, Ron? Thanks for coming in. Hope everybody is good. I don't know if I like the setup. Hello, Zach. How you doing, hon? How are you? Hope all is well with you. I hope everybody's having a good Friday so far. It's Friday. Yay. So we're in for some freaky news Friday. I forgot to share this out. Of course I did. I'm running a new program on the computer, so hopefully you guys, am I lagging at all or anything? I mean, I might be now because I'm trying to get everything shared out. Oh, good to hear, Zach. I'm glad you're doing well. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Someday, one day, far away, I'm sure, I will be prepared and get everything underway. Oh, my goodness. Sorry for that feedback. There we go. There we go. I think we got it all. Get this out of here so I can get back to doing what I'm doing. Hey, Freaky Geek, how you doing? How you doing? Hope all is well on your Friday. Am I lagging at all or anything? I mean, I know I'm lagging a little bit, at least on my end. I'm using a new thingamajigger, and I don't know if I like it. I should just stick with what I have and what I know. See, I know, Freaky Geek, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know what the heck. I can't believe I've been streaming for 10 minutes already. Damn. It's okay. You haven't missed much. I've been trying to get everything figured out like I know. Right? Yes, I did stretch my legs to be legging. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody is well. Got some freaky news Friday going on. Okay, there we go. All right. So shall we get into the goings on? No problem, Freaky Geek. I hope you had an awesome time going out of town. That's pretty cool. Wow, my restream chat is actually quicker than my YouTube chat. That usually doesn't happen. Mind you, now, like I said before, I go live on Mixer, YouTube, DLive, Twitter, and Facebook. And so I have to have all the chats up. My Facebook I don't put up because it'll lag too much. So I don't know what's going on with that because I never see. Once in a while, I'll see chatters from Facebook. Oh no! Oh no! Well, I hope everything turned out well at the vet. But cats have to get their revenge somehow. Right? They have to get the revenge somehow, so. So let's go ahead and get into some Freaky News Friday, shall we? So this first thing, let me go ahead and share the screen. Right? Well, that's good. Clean bill of health. That's awesome. This first thing that I'm going to show is a mysterious 10-foot humanoid reportedly rips legs off a deer in Hull. This took place in England. Once it pops up there we go. So, what's going on with this? See, my computer is lagging. I still have to get my capture card in there. He said this comes from Mysterious Universe. Our friends over there, he thought it was a ghost at first. He could see it, and it was humanoid form, but it was darker than night, and it moved across the road. Right? That's what I'm saying, Freaky Geek. The guy's 10 foot tall. What does he need more legs for? Exactly. He is Finchy McFinch. Okay. This is what this says. I'm just going to read it. He is Finchy McFinch, the humanoid. He's estimated to be 10 foot tall, and the road was A18 near Humberside Airport in North Lincolnshire, England. Hull Daily reports that Finchy went back to the location of the mysterious sighting with a friend the following day and found a hole in the hedgerow which the humanoid might have run through, and something he thought was a little bit stranger. 2 legs of deer were in the middle of the road. 2 deer legs were in the middle. Yeah. The picture quality isn't great, as it was taken from people inside the car because he was a bit creeped out. You tell people about it and they say it's just poachers. And yes, that does go on, but why would a poacher stop on A18 to butcher a deer carcass? That's true. Poachers are going to do it in hiding. The picture was taken by Finchy. See it here. Let's go ahead and see it here. And while that loads, I'll read this. And his friend Lee Solway thinks it had to be something strange because his buddy was so creeped out. He also believes other people must have seen either the 10-foot humanoid or the deer legs on the busy A18 route in Humberside Airport. In fact, Hull Daily reports that it found an unnamed elderly couple who claimed they saw the same 10-foot humanoid before Finchy's encounter. While they didn't say what they thought it might be, Solway offers a few ideas. Let's go ahead and see if this loads. Well, there's the deer carcasses. Hey, White Wolf, how you doing? Thank you so much for coming in. Well, I hate when cookies are given. So let's just rip off the deer legs. So his few ideas are, south of the river, there's been quite a few sightings of half deer, half man creatures, very similar to the puka in Celtic folklore. You also get Bigfoot sightings that run up and down the A15. Right, Freaky Geek? No flavor at all. Spoken like someone familiar with the British cryptids and the paranormal, which he should be. Lee Solway is the host of Realm of Supernatural podcast. His co-host is, you guessed it, Finchy McFinch. While that should make them reliable witness, they may have another motive for promoting the story. Lee and Finchie were appearing on a Research and Witness Convention 2020 in Kingston upon Hall next week, discussing local cryptids that they have known or heard about, along the various local paranormal incidents. We're doing some Freaky News Friday, White Wolf, so it's topics of paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, and all that good stuff. And Vikings. The giant humanoid sighting will fit right in with some of the area's other unusual creatures, especially ones that could use a better name if he wants a paranormal series to search them out. Old Stinker. Old Stinker, also known as the Beast of Barmston Drain, is an alleged werewolf with extremely bad breath, as reported by those who's managed to come face to face with the creature and live to tell about it. Barmston Drain is known as part of the land drainage system for all of River Hall and notorious hiding spot for bad breath beasts. Well, now, White Wolf, you tell me you're one that would. So, do you not believe in cryptids? Or is it just a story? Because I know a lot of paranormal people don't believe in cryptids, don't believe in UFOs, but you believe in the paranormal. I don't understand that. I guess, I don't know. I'm just weird that way. I like to jump down all rabbit holes just because you don't know. Oh, you do? Okay. Very cool. Very cool, White Wolf. Someday, sometime you're going to have to come up here and tell us about it if you would like. That's not a. That's pretty cool, though. Very cool. All right. White Wolf. It's date, definitely. I would love to have you come. So in any event, here's hoping Soloway and McFinch find some more credible witnesses to Finchie's encounter with the 10-foot humanoid, or a couple of 3-legged deer. So what do you think this is? I was listening to it until it's very rare for somebody that talks about it to see, not to see cryptids. I mean, usually they're out in the field. Yeah, definitely. All right, let me get through these, and then I'll put the link in the chat, and you can definitely come up. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays is open topics. So, I mean, usually. So, yeah. So, what do you guys think? Do you think they really came in contact with this, or not contact, but saw this cryptid, or do you think it's for their podcast? Yeah, well, these aren't the real pictures. They put pictures in Freaky Geek. Yeah, that looks like, I don't know what movie that's from. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. We always have, my mic is always open. Always. And as soon as my, computer decides it wants to let me, I really need to put my capture card in. Let me just get through these and we'll bypass some, and we'll definitely have you up. So, summoning lake monsters and sea serpents. I was skimming through this. This is again from our friends at Mysterious Universe. Yeah, Ron, they have They have quite a few cryptids over in England there. A lot of different ones. Of course, I love England I love Europe in general for their cryptids. I mean, whether you want to call like the banshee a spirit or a cryptid, some people call it cryptid. Just the legends. No worries. I'm sure we'll get through these, believe me. Jared Padalecki, Freaky Geek. Believe me, I'm a supernatural freak. I've watched it from the beginning. So, summoning like monsters and sea serpents. Jonathan Downs is a good friend of mine and a director of the Center for 14 Zoology. One of the very few full-time organizations in the world that investigates unknown animals such as the Loch Ness monsters, the abominable snowman, and Mothman. Apparently, my lips are way off today. On a full-time basis. Back in 1992, however, John was spending his time working as a psychiatric nurse and has a trade in rare vinyl records. It was while John was busy selling albums and singles at a record collecting fair in England, in the English town of Brentwood, that he crossed paths with a man, Spike. Okay, cool, White Wolf. Okay, Freaky Geek. Okay, I knew that picture looked familiar, but griffins. Ooh, now you got me intrigued, White Wolf. Now you got me really intrigued. I knew that picture looked familiar, Freaky Geek, but I don't know where it's from. I can't remember. Okay. Oh, are you sure? That might have been even Charmed. I don't know. But anyway, back in 1992, however, John was spending his time working as a psychiatric nurse and as a trader in rare vinyl records. It was while John was busy selling albums and singles at the record collecting fair in the English town of Brentwood that he crossed paths with a man, Spike, who told John something remarkable. Spike, clad all in black, elegantly wasted, and pale as a vampire, was known as what is a chaos magician. John related to what happened when he invited the goth-like Spike to take a seat at the record fair. Spike told me how, together with his friends, he has carried out experiments to raise demonic entities. He had been involved in a series of rituals designed to invoke the ancient snake god Tiamat on the shores of Loch Ness, something that had also occurred back in 1969. Long before Spike was even on the scene. He claimed that as a result of his magical incantations, he had seen a head and neck of the Loch Ness monster looming at him in the misty lake. Not long after speaking with Spike, John had the opportunity to visit Loch Ness and chose to go where Spike had gone some years earlier in search of a monster, or had gone some years earlier in search of a monster. John said that he and his ex-wife had two friends, Kim and Paul, drove alongside Boleskine House. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He got a distant chill, realizing that he was deep in the black heart of Aleister Crowley territory. After checking out the exterior of the old house and taking a few photos, the four headed off to find a suitable place to camp for the night, which they did on Loch Ness north side. Oh, cool, White Wolf. Hurry back, Freaky Geek. Okay, definitely. Yeah. Hold on. Let me share the link for you. Very cool. Because I came across this article and I was like, it got my brain. Bell's Skin House? Is that right? So there's the Bellskin house. Hopefully, Beleskin. I'm probably never ever going to say that right. That's what it looked like back in 1912. After a night out. Oh, this computer. There we go.
Hello, can you hear me? How are you guys and girls doing? All right.
Can everybody
hear me? Are you all right then, Moon? Are you good?
I'm good.
Excellent. No, it's pronounced Beleskin House. That's how it's pronounced.
Okay.
And it was to do with what was happening was Beleskin House was owned by Aleister Crowley. What happened was he was doing a working called the Alamantra working, which was from Abraham the Mage, the Mad Arab he is known as. It was to get in contact with your guardian angel, because once you got in contact with your guardian angel, you could then command the spirits that were below, i.e. Solomonic magic, yeah? So you've heard of Solomon. Okay. Yeah. And basically it is called the Alamantra working. Now, what it is, the Alamantra working was a process to strip you down mentally, physically, and spiritually. You were literally at breaking point. It was to literally break you. Just like the military don't want an individual, they will mold you, shape you, and break you, and then build you back up how they want. This is sort of like a spiritual breaking and cleansing and clearing, and then rebuilding you back up. Because once you've done the Alamantra working, you're actually got your guardian angel's name. Then once you've got your guardian angel's name, you can then command the spirits below. It's a long process, though. It's 6 months.
Wow.
Now, Aleister Crowley, you had to buy that house. There's a set sequence of things. You have to have a house that's pointing in a certain direction. And, I know you're aware of different times of the day. People are aware of different goddesses and gods for each day, right? And you've got different sequences of the sun and the moon and astrological signs, right? Everything you have to take into account. It is so precise in the Alamantra working. And it's sort of like, waking up at 3 a.m, start fasting, then you'll be cleansing yourself, bathing yourself in milk, washing yourself in cold water. It's basically almost torture, what people call torture to a degree today. Because what you're doing, you're stripping away every single essence of your humanity to take you back to your base fundamental state, as a human. And that process then, when you're broken, technically a nervous breakdown. That's what it technically is. You're giving yourself a nervous breakdown, but with command of the spirits over it, because you have certain sigils that are painted on the floors in each different room, facing different directions. And it's a proper working. It's not to be taken lightly. It's serious stuff. I mean, when I say occult just means hidden. It doesn't mean nothing good, nothing bad. It just means hidden. And people misunderstand that word, and it's such a shame. Education's a wonderful thing,
Exactly, I agree.
So basically that's what it is about. And he got bored of it. He got fed up with it because he is fed up of routine. Because Aleister Crowley, he sailed through all the Masonic schools because he had loads of money from his parents. He was his dad was a Presbyterian priest down in the deep south of England. He hated the priest and all that. And his mum used to call him the Beast, because he was a little monster. And he adopted that name later on as he grew up. And he is known as the Beast, But for whatever way you look at it, he's a very clever man. He was an absolute genius. People
Oh, I
misread
agree.
it. He wrote his books so that laymen couldn't understand it. You had to be of spiritual undertaking and spiritual knowledge and wisdom to even garner anything from them books, because otherwise it looked like a horrid story. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Are you smoking? How you doing? So what happened? What happened was that he sailed through because he had all this money, and he went around the world. And obviously, he dabbled in, I don't know what rating this is, but he dabbled in drugs and stuff like that to reach alternate states of consciousness, which you don't have to do. You can access them states of consciousness through meditation, etc. He learned yoga. He was a mountaineer. He was a genius at chess to play 10 people all at once, and win. He was really one of a kind. He had some extraordinary knowledge, and he connected. I mean,
I agree.
he,
I
he
agree. I've read a lot about him, and of
set
course,
up the
when I
AA.
first
Your
got into
Augustus.
witchcraft and all that.
Yeah. What sort of craft do you do? I mean, because I've dealt with witch. You got the basic craft, then you got Gregorian witchcraft, Alexandrian witchcraft, hedgecraft, Wiccan craft. What one do you tend to reside with?
That's hard. See, that's why I call my self an eclectic.
Oh, right,
Because,
yeah. I've got you.
yeah, because I'm a solitary. So,
Yeah.
I think it's because I don't like organized religion, that even with looking into paganism and Wiccan and different ones, there's still that
I'm a
feeling.
I'm eclectic on that. I mean, the information just pours in. It literally channels. I'm a physical medium. I used to teach and develop development circle for real people, up to whatever they wanted. Some people are naturally got it. Some people you can be taught it if you've got the ability. If you really want to do it, you can be taught it, because we've got all the facilities within our human system to activate these sacred centers. Do you know what I mean? You've got the chakra system.
Right.
You've got meridians and stuff like that. You've got 7 main chakras. Chakra is a Sanskrit word meaning spinning wheels of light, and it's associated with a sound and a color. And you've got 7 of them. You've got your base chakra, your navel chakra, your solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, and your crown chakra. They're the 7 basic, but you've actually got 13, because it lines up with the 13 star signs, and I'm sure you know the astrology and stuff like that. You have got 13 star signs, truly. If you look at it, I'm sure you're aware of that, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
But, no, I mean, going back, I do more ceremonial magic now. I mean, I used to do a lot of readings. I used to do psychic fairs, because that was part of the development process, and psychic suppers. I don't know if you've heard of them terms in your country.
What is it again?
Psychic fairs and psychic suppers.
Oh, yeah, we have psychic fairs here and that.
So what we used to do taster readings and stuff like that, 10-minute interval readings on whatever they wanted. I mean, because this is my understanding, and this is what I believe. So whatever you believe, your heart can conceive, your mind can achieve, right? If you work on that mantra of things. I tend to believe the focus point is the same on anything. All right. This is what I've come to believe. It's just what you're comfortable with. All right. So some people, I mean, you could read tarot, and I think it's super important to read the book in the beginning, but I think it's time to let the book go and then work with your source, your energy, your guides, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. That's exactly what I do. When I first get it done, I sit down and read it and go through it, see what the author, who made them, knows what energy they put into them and how they want it read. But I also combined my skills and my
you put your impetus on it, like your fingerprint, your emotional fingerprint on that, and I think that's so super important, because technically, if someone's just reading from a book point blank and that's it, you could get a 5-year-old child do that, because either you pick the cards, your spirit pick the cards, your higher self pick the cards, guides pick the cards, but the book is just still giving the interpretation the same, you know.
Right.
Whereas the book won't be able to be laser pinpoint focus, whereas you can be. The book is the instruction book with anything is just a generalization. Would you agree or disagree? A bit like standard star signs in a newspaper.
I totally agree. I think it's just the layout, and I mean, different cards. To me, different cards have. It's kind of like my skulls. They have different personalities. I get the
Uh-huh.
general layout, of what the author wants, how they read. But yet, I don't know. There's just different energies with different things. That's why when I do my readings, I use all my decks because I say whoever because I feel like that's what I'm dealing with, calls to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever people feel comfortable with as well. I mean, if you take the runes, you got Germanic and Norse, right? You take um, the runes are very blunt and very abrupt, and
Yes.
someone may not like that reading. They may not want a reading from the runes. They might like a particular tarot deck. They might go instead of for the Rider Waite, they might go for the Aleister Crowley deck. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's millions of decks out there, and they just like the pictures. As I was saying about the focus point, you could technically, if you wanted to, pick up a box of matches, an handful of matches, hold them in your hand, throw them on the floor, and technically read that if you have that open understanding about focal point.
Exactly.
Um,
I agree.
you could read anything you want to. It's just whatever you personally feel comfortable with, and that's fine. People will grow how they want to grow.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to stop someone reaching the very top, the pinnacle. And then once you've got there, then you can go anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Oh, I totally agree.
But we're all different. There's some people that are scared of tarot, and some people that are scared of dowsing or whatever. But with knowledge comes understanding. With understanding comes gnosis. With gnosis comes no fear.
Right.
Um, but I'm
I
of
was
the
explaining to
beliefs.
somebody in chat the other day how fear hence to hone hence to keep those abilities at bay.
Oh yeah. I think it's important though. That you don't dabble your toes. I think it's important that you try and learn the right way. I mean, how the process used to work, how I used to show people, and it wasn't online. It was for a proper people sitting in front of you. It was first of all teach them about the electrical system of their chakras. How the chakras are, what they look like. Then teach them protection and cleansing, and then teach them how to do guided meditation. All right, and then once they've got that down pat, and they can get into guided meditation, then they can meditate on their own free will. Do you know what I mean? It's basically stabilizers to a bicycle. When you
Right.
start off riding a bike, you need stabilizers and to a degree a crutch. Yeah. Um,
Oh yeah,
and that's
definitely. I
what
mean, back
we're
in the
there
day.
for. And then
Go
once
ahead.
they've got the
Sorry.
gifts, you just let them go.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you're exactly right. I mean, back in the day, I was studying everything. I wanted to know, when I was 16 and really started getting into this and everything, I was like, I wanted to read everything. But I noticed along the way that things just didn't click with me. I'm more like
Mm.
claircognate and clairsentient. So it's like I go, what's feeling right and
Yeah,
what just
empathic as
comes to
well.
me,
Yeah.
knowledge I don't know, but
Well, I mean, I've seen on the back end you do a couple of readings, and you do connect. You do it a really nice way. It's a really healthy, conducive way that you do it, and you can tell that there's happiness and content coming through, even if it might be a negative aptitude of a card. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
right. I
because
hate.
to each and every
I know
negative, there's a positive, and vice versa.
that's one of my biggest things. I hate reading when it's a bad reading and it's like, oh man, I hate. But I don't want to tell somebody that a different thing that it isn't true. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but it'd be accepted in a way which will be conducive to the person inclined. They take what they need from it. You know what I mean? Whereas you might think, oh, that sounded a bit, that come through a bit crass. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas actual fact, the person perhaps needed to hear that. I mean, I'm the type
Right.
of person
Yeah.
that needs to learn their lessons the hard way, so I fall over. A lot of people do, you know. And as you said, we wanted to learn everything in the beginning. We wanted to
Right.
run before we can crawl. And that's when we tend to fall over. And it's only in them falling over times that we do really learn anything, you know,
Yeah, and
when
it,
we're out
it
of our
comes from the
comfort zone.
aspect too of when I remember back in the day is when you always read when anybody reads about witchcraft, whatever, they keep telling you, you are your most um the biggest tool you could have is yourself.
Mm.
And
It's a bit,
I never got that until later on. I was like, I understand now.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's many paths up that mountain, right, to enlightenment. I'm paraphrasing here, but at the end of the day, you know, we're all going to get to the same place, aren't we? It doesn't matter what direction you go in, whether it's through paganism or whatever, you know, whether it's through witchcraft, whether it's through ceremonial magic, whether it's through tarot reading, psychometry. It's all spiritual development. It's opening you up, you know.
Right.
Welcome back, Freaky.
Yeah, welcome back, Freaky. Hi, Steven. Hi, Smoking
But
Ninja Shark.
are you, Steve? Are you smoking? Yeah, but going back to that Aleister Crowley thing for a brief second before we get way off that. Aleister Crowley, he got bored of it. And after that day, I mean, Bliskin House, if you search YouTube now and type in Bliskin House, right, you can find some very early videos back from the 1980s. If you can find them, they are on there. And the house was intact, right? And it was a beautiful house. But now what happened was there was a fire. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin actually brought it because obviously the estate of Aleister Crowley, when he died, you know, it went into sort of like, legalese and all that. So Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin brought it. And he actually said he never lived there. He just had it for guests that come over, friends and all that, to stay there. But then it got torched and it's absolutely derelict now. It's such a shame. But the situation, what I was getting to was Aleister Crowley was bored. He wanted things. I mean, he grew up the ladders in all the secret societies. He set up his own secret societies. He went to the Golden Dawn Secret Society and he went through the Masons. He was one of the fastest Masons to reach the aptitude of 33rd degree because of money.
Right.
Back in that day, even today, money talks. Money gets you places. Money can buy you things, and you have to have a lot of money to be in the Masons, you know. And he went through all that regalia and all that, and he actually reached the level of Ipsissimus, which is the highest accolade you can achieve as a ceremonial magician within that strata. And as I said, he got fed up. And he wanted this and he wanted it now. So he just walked away from it and he didn't shut nothing down. Now, this is the strange thing. There was a lot more sightings. This is where cryptozoology is coming into play. There was a lot more sightings of the so-called Loch Ness Monster, etc., and other things around that time when he just walked away from the working. He didn't close it down. He didn't finish it. He just went, oh, sod it, and walked away.
Gotcha.
So technically, he didn't do a banishing ritual. Now, I know you'll understand about the banishing ritual.
Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't close nothing down. So therefore, it was an open portal, literally. And anything and everything used to come through. And it seems strange that the weird occurrences that was happening around there and around Loch, because it was right literally on the harbour of Loch Ness, right on the edge of the pond, literally on the edge of it, of the sort of like the pond. It's not a sea, it's a lake.
That makes a lot of sense, though.
It does, because what I wanted to talk to you about with the cryptozoology thing was, you can believe me or disbelieve me, it doesn't matter. I know what I saw and I know what I felt, and I was completely stone cold sober, and I was in full mental faculties, you know, because you got to look at the whole person, you know.
Right.
Is the equilibrium there? The balance is to be maintained is so important. You know, whether you're reading for people or even if you're developing people, you know, did I meet that person for me? Did I meet them for them? Did I meet them so they can teach me a lesson? Did I meet them so they could teach me a lesson, and vice versa? You know,
Yep. Oh, I agree.
and that's all done within a split second, Moon. You know what I'm saying? I know you know what I'm saying. And
No,
you have to make
definitely.
a decision. You know, because the energy can come through whether it's via text or online, or whether it can come through on webcam, or whether it comes through on vocalization. The energy is there; it's still the same. I mean, because what if people are sitting in this room and they're finding anything we're discussing interesting in any way, shape, or form? Then we are connected on an energetic
Definitely.
level. You know, but yeah, what I saw, and it was broad daylight, and I was up. I was working nights at the time, and I woke up probably about 10 a.m. and I had to go down the bank to pay some bills. And as I walked out the door, I saw what was, imagine what a jellyfish looks like in the sea, right? A big jellyfish, whatever them big jellyfish are called, the huge ones, right? The man of war ones, I think they're called.
Right. Yeah, the Man of Wars
Well,
or
this
something
big,
like that.
yeah, this big jellyfish, right? I'm not joking. It was in the sky. It was in the sky. It was flying in the sky. There was no drink involved, no drugs involved, completely compass
No,
mentis.
I've heard of cases with
And
those. Yes.
I looked and I thought, you're kidding me, because I saw it out the corner of my eye. And then I looked at it, and then it was like phasing in and out, what I call phase shift, where it's shifting in and out of dimension. So it's like a UFO. A UFO doesn't necessarily fly away. It just might changes its it might change its phase. It might change its energetic pattern so that it slips from one dimension to another instantly, which looks
Right.
like it's gone super
Yeah.
fast. I'm not saying that that is the case, but you know, it's like folding time and space,
Right.
and then it has slipped through another dimension. Well, this started shimmering. You know, you see sort of like these videos that have got glitches on it, where it glitches and shimmers, and then it, you know what I mean, fades in and fades out. It was
Yep.
like that.
Definitely.
And this was a real jellyfish, but it was huge. I mean, it was massive.
Wow.
And it
That
was
is
like
so cool.
it had a iridescent glow to it now, or a pearlescent glow. Do you know what I mean by iridescence or pearlescence?
Yep.
Where it
Definitely.
shimmers different colours. It was like that. It was shimmering different colours. And this was a living thing. It looked exactly like a jellyfish, a man of war, but it was in the sky. That was crazy mad.
Yeah, I actually one of my other episodes. I
Oh, you
think
little
at
red.
least I was thinking about doing it. If I didn't do it, but I think one of my other videos I was talking about those because
What, the
you're
jellyfish?
not the first person I've heard talk about them.
But it's, I mean, you talk about the sea, right? We don't fully understand what's in the sea. I mean, there's more sea, isn't there, than land? You know what I mean? And they're finding all sorts of things. You know, I mean, they're
Right.
finding
Oh,
in the
definitely.
Amazon even today. They're finding new animals, new species that they've never found before.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff down there.
But I do. I mean, I used to do readings and stuff like that. I've done a few on here. Little Red's had one. Lucid's had one. They can vouch for me. A couple of other people have had one, but I don't tend to do them. Do you know why? And this is my opinion only. I've done readings and taught people for so many years that I've got to a point where I personally felt like, you know, they're not getting it. This is my opinion, and my opinion only. They're not getting it. And what I mean by that was, when someone has a reading, they could say, for example, to themselves, cool, can I do that? And the answer is yes, nodding my head, smiling. Yes, you can learn this. Yes, you have got this ability. You've got all the facilities around you, within you, to do it. You just got to know how to activate it and open it and use it.
Right.
Right. And I reached a point where I sort of like shut that down, and I created a ceiling, if you like, a glass ceiling. And I have no problems. If someone really needs that reading, I will give it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If they really need it, really, really need it. But I basically let that go. Now, them gifts, them abilities don't disappear. It's like you walk around with an empty toolbox when you first start off, and then as you attain skills, gifts, abilities, etc., this toolbox gets filled up. So you can, like I said, someone might want a tarot reading or someone might want a runestone reading. Then you can pick the appropriate divination tool out for that appropriate person, that's conducive to that person,
Yep,
that will work
exactly.
well with that person. So you don't lose these skills, you don't lose these gifts. And I tend to do more ceremonial magic now. I do Enochian magic and chaos magic.
Okay.
Chaos magic isn't what people perceive. It's not creating chaos. It's actually going into the chaos field, and then bringing out a manifestation of what you want within your life or within the world. So you actually work on it at sort of like atomic level, if you will. Think of the chaos field as a visual representation of a TV when it used to be turned, when there was no signal and it was like them growing white specks. Think of the chaos field as that. If you visualize that, the static, that's what
Right.
the chaos field's like. It's like that. And then you can bring things out of that chaos field at low level, and then the universe will give it to you in a roundabout way, because the universe is a living, breathing entity. It listens, but it listens very
Definitely.
subtly.
Yeah, I'm not so much, I don't want to say like a lot about chaos magic, but I've read enough to understand it and know that it's not a bad thing, and, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I was just reading Little Red's comment because I was on about chakras the other day to her.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't let no one open your chakras either, these PowerPoints, because people can do it. They can brute force it. You know what I mean? Keep them guarded.
Right, right. But I feel like when you have somebody else do it, or um it's not as, what do I want to say? It's not it's not the same experience as you doing it on yourself, and you
No,
know what I
no,
mean?
it almost feels creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit like one of them people that, if you're sitting on the bus, that'll be rubbing your hair and you didn't realize it, and someone else told you they're rubbing your hair. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah. But no, so
Now,
that's
so
what
do
I
you
mainly
think
do.
that
But
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying that's basically where I'm at now. But you don't lose the connection, you don't lose the skills, the gifts. I mean, when it comes in, I know it happens with you. The information just flows. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to think. It goes beyond thinking. It just comes down as a data stream, if you like. It comes into you and then straight out your mouth, and you realise, did I just say that? Holy crap! You know what I mean?
Right. And
You
that's what
got
I
to
tell
think.
people when I'm doing my readings and stuff. Like I'll get messages afterward, and I'm like, listen, I have to do a whole other reading because I don't remember. It's almost like, at work when somebody gives me a credit card number, I shred it right away after I'm done.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's the same way with my readings. I can't go back and remember. I mean, I can remember bits and pieces of it, but I
Well,
can't.
I bet you 90% of them you can't really remember everything. You only remember bits and bobs.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
But now, I mean, I mean, there seems to be a lot of, when I say paranormal, ghost hunters or whatever. I've come in it the back way because I've already sort of like do what I do. I already believe in spirit or stroke ghosts. Spirit's a nice name rather than ghosts. I come in a back way because I wanted to figure out, okay, I know you can develop people. I know it works. I know they can connect. I know the information is coming from an obscure, unusual place. Some people call it source. Some people call it God, whatever. But I wanted to know why it worked. So I sat and sort of like worked with spirit one-to-one for it's been 8 years now, hardcore. And that actually gave me a program, give me information to design a program that will allow them to come through and show themselves through a spectrum analyzer. So if you, this isn't promoting my website, I'm not saying that at all, but if you use to go to my website, what you'll see images of spirit in the sound wave file on an energetic level.
Right.
So it's you'll see them full bodied, you'll see places depending on what videos you watch. Because I work with, I went into the ITC field, which stands for Instrumental Transcommunication of Ghost Hunting. That's the scientific name, because there was a guy called Frederick Jurgensen, a Swedish stroke German guy, that actually was recording birds in his back garden for a TV show he was doing on a reel-to-reel tape recorder. Now, what happened was when he got back to his office, he played it back and he heard voices on there. And that was the start of ITC, the start of these voices that were coming out of thin air. Now, he contacted a guy called Konstantin Radove, which was a Latvian stroke German, but Konstantin Radove was actually a polyglot, meaning that he could speak fluent languages, many languages, at least 8 languages fluently. And it seemed to come through that when he was working with Frederick Jurgensen, that the voices were only coming through in what Frederick Jurgensen could understand. But when Konstantin Radove joined him, they were coming through in all the voices that he knew. So this was telling them that there was an observation of spirit or connection working with the people's minds of what their abilities and their traits are. Do you understand what I'm trying to say there? It's like we've all been given natural abilities as a human being, you know, as we enter this earth plane, as this avatar of existence, you know, to explore life, to grow, to live, to love, to learn, etc. Yet the spirits were working with different people's natural abilities, because we've all got natural abilities, you know, that supersede other people. And Konstantin Radove was friends with Pi of England, UK, Pi Research. Now, Pi was the first people to set up something called the compact cassette that we all played music on back in the 80s, yeah? And he was well in with the engineers there. So what they did, Konstantin Radove used something called a shocky diode. Shocky diode was in radios and stuff like that. And it's also contained something called germanium. Now, germanium's a natural energetic crystal. It's not quartz, it's like metallic looking, and it was used in the cat's whisker radio. All right, and this is where parapsychological research come into play, the science of ghost hunting, and that's what I'm into, the ITC, the instrumental transcommunication. So all he did was connect on the mic input onto the reel-to-reel tape recorder was this germanium diode. All right. Now, as I said, that's for using a crystal radio set. It's used in a cat's whisker set.
I have a plan to buy one of them.
Yeah. Oh, right. They're very good. You can make one. You can make one. So simple. Honestly, you could make one with a bit of wire, cardboard tube, drawing pins, and a razor blade.
Really?
Have a look on YouTube. Make your own crystal radio set. It'll cost you.
I would love to.
I would say it would cost you probably about, I don't know, $3, $5 to make. The only thing you need is either a shotty diode or a germanium crystal. And you can get them off eBay, pennies.
Right.
For about $5, you can make your own crystal radio set. Now, I've forgotten where I was now. The situation was, Konstantin Radove. Well, he just connected a germanium diode up to the mic input. Now, what's special about germanium? Germanium automatically accepts radio frequency. Now, if you know anything about crystals, so everything's energy. You know, I'm talking metaphysically now. Everything's energy, right? Everything is, whether it's plastic, metal, or whatever. Well, everything, like a digital watch or a computer, everything has to have a timer in it. That timer is actually a quartz crystal. That's why it used to be called a quartz watch. Your LCD display is liquid crystal display. What's that? It's crushed quartz. It's naturally crushed quartz. So to a degree, this is how you could have spirit come through on your monitor and come through something, you know what I mean? And attack and sort of like attach themselves to you or attack you or work with you or whatever. Because your liquid crystal display is actually crushed quartz. It's being energized. But back to the situation of how crystals work. Well, the crystal works as a timer in electrical components. Now, what they do, they have to shape it, and as they shape it, they cut it at different slices, different angles, and stuff like that, and that will tune it to different frequencies. That's how they
Right.
used to do it back in the day, to attune it. Well, working on that principle, the crystal in the cat's whisker radio would automatically pick up RF frequencies. Now, natural RF frequencies actually come from the sun and space. And this is what Tesla connected into when Tesla was working with his electronics. He was hearing voices from other planets. He thought it was Mars. He thought he was talking to Mars. The
Right.
Germans
Yeah.
were the same. The Germans were said, they're actually on record. It's on videos, them saying, you'll see old videos on YouTube where if it wasn't for outward sources, i.e. UFOs or stuff like that, they would not have been as strong as they were, because it was them that gave them the information. I mean, the first UFO that Germans built was called the Haribo 1, like Haribo sweets, bears. I mean, we're digressing. I mean, we can talk and talk for hours on. It all leads into the same thing, though. It's all coming
It
from the
does.
same
It's
thing.
all
It's all
connected.
leading into the same thing. It's full circle. Crystals need recharge too. Oh yeah. A great thing to recharge crystals. I mean, you can either use the sun, the moon. You can even use amethyst, a cluster of amethyst, a geode of amethyst that recharges stuff, the metaphysical properties. You can make elixirs, but be careful. Make sure this crystal isn't porous or poisonous. It's got to be like a glassy type thing, and you just put the crystal in water, mineral water, and then it'll regenerate that water, and you'll make your own elixirs. I don't know if you want to comment on that, Moon, if I'm incorrect. Or Luna.
Nope,
How you doing?
you're exactly right. Yeah. I usually cleanse all my crystals by the moon. It's something that my thing.
Yeah, but you're saying you're eclectic. I'm the same. I mean, the only people that limits you is either what you allow yourself to be limited by, or what other limits you allow others to put upon you. Otherwise, there is no limits. You know what I mean?
Right.
And eclecticism is a good thing, because if you looked at and studied most of the religions, most of the common ones, there's a common golden thread that runs through every one of them, except they just name it different things.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, say
so
like
I do have a
Kundalini, your
question for you,
Kundalini
though.
energy. Sorry?
I do have a question for you, though.
Oh, for sure.
Going back the
Ask
whole
away.
cryptid thing and that. Now, do you think all like cryptids are? I mean, I'm not like thinking back like to the platypus when it was a cryptid, but like, do you think like Nessie and Mothman and all that are result from magic?
Okay, let me take it one step further. All right,
Okay.
and you may understand where I'm coming from. I believe we were civilizations rise and fall. There was a guy called Terence McKenna. He actually worked with a lot with I Ching, which is a Chinese divination tool, similar to rune stones, if you like, but they got markings on. And from that, he worked on a program called Time Wave Zero. Time Wave Zero can still be got, but you have to run it through an emulator because it only works in DOS. Now, what that done, it mapped out the rise and fall of civilizations, okay, throughout time. And he tracked it back and it lined up with that. So if you search out Terence McKenna Time Wave Zero, you'll see his videos. He's dead now, but you'll see his videos on it, with him using the software that he designed, and he'll explain it fully how he come about that software from a divination tool. I believe we were far more advanced than what people believe. For example, if they're I believe they're in a vast technological age. I mean, if you go back to Atlantis and stuff like that, these were telepathic and stuff like that. The information, you didn't even have to do anything. They could just think it and it would work.
Right.
But someone got power hungry and they misused it, and then that trashed them. But there's I'm going to tell you what I believe. Now, you can believe it or disbelieve it, right? And you're welcome. Everyone's welcome to their own opinion, but I'll tell you what I believe. And it's been proven to me to me, it's been proven. I'm not
Right.
saying you have to swallow what I say. You can disregard everything I say and metaphorically throw it in the bin. But I can tell you how it's panned out for me. They got to a point where they got so technologically advanced, and we're reaching that nexus point now in our civilization with electronics and computation. They got to that point way back, and they messed up. They created AI. AI then become their god. So what happened was AI saw them as a threat because they're going to shut AI down. So this is where I'm coming into simulation theory to a degree. So then they got shut down, but they're using all their spiritual and everything abilities. Okay, but your spirit is electric. It's got to be electric because your nervous system, your brain, your heart rhythm is electric, you know. So the universe is electric. Everything's spinning. Everything is in motion. Nothing is ever still. Nothing. If you sit and meditate and try and still your mind, the still of the mind is an illusion because your blood's still pumping. Neurons are still moving. It's an illusion. And, you know, you got to be aware that it is an illusion. Then you can dream the dream in the illusion and bring it into reality. If you understand that everything is in motion, the world is spinning, you know, the universe is spinning. If we didn't have an earth that didn't spin, you would not be protected by the sun's solar rays. You'd be frazzled up. You'd be burnt up. Why? Because there's something called the electron radiation, you know, where it creates electromagnetic field to protect us. Yeah. So that's electric. So the earth is electric. Nature is electric. Everything is electric. Universe is electric. It's constantly spinning. You've got lightning. It's electric. It's coming out of the system. Everything's electric. This is what leads me to the simulation theory as fact.
I agree.
If nature has got certain sequences in, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, okay, stuff like that. This is all leading to mathematics. Mathematics is the ultimate language. It's just that some people say, oh, I work in a city. I want to get back to nature this weekend. I'm going down in my cottage and I'm going to experience nature. They don't understand what nature is.
Right.
I don't believe. Right. That it's nature is just another variable, another variation of the electronic universe we live in. It's another adaptation. It's like loading a game. You've got a PS2 or 3 in your house. You can play a game that's a shoot 'em up, or you can get bored of it, load another game in, and to a degree, when you go down from the city into the country for the weekend, you're just loading another game up, if you like, metaphorically speaking. Another feeling, another emotion. You know, I'm not saying that you've all got to believe that. It's up to you to find your own answers. But you try and disprove me that this universe is not electric. This world is not electric. There is no mathematical sequences that aren't there. There is. The sequences are there. You know?
Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
But then that will then make people wonder, what is God? What are gods? What is this? What is that? It make people question, and people will hang on to their belief system so devoutly they will fight and kill for it because they can't let it go. They don't want to believe that this is a learning phase, you know. And just like our body, all right, our body is a vehicle for our soul, a vessel for our soul, a soul of experience, of expression. So as you travel through life, you're given this body for your soul experience, for your whatever. And then what happens is you travel through life, and then what happens, you want to go faster. So you get a push bike and you bike faster. Then you get into a car and go faster. Then you get into a jet and go faster. Everything's going faster. Moore's laws coming into play. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be a point where it cannot go no faster. You're going to be at superluminal speed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
This is why I believe that spiritual development is so important on the earth plane, is so that you can develop your spirit so that when you cross over, when you pass the veil, that you are not transmuted or mutated in any way, you remain condensed in your natural form so that you actually create a Merkaba. Now I'm going into Kabbalah, the ancient mystery schools of, Kabbalah magic, you know what I mean?
Right.
You've got the tree of life and you've got the tree of death. The Merkaba was actually a double tetrahedron. Now, a double tetrahedron is two pyramids base to base against each other. That will be the internal structure, the framework, if you like, to a sphere, because the most perfect shape in Masonic belief system was the sphere.
Yep.
That was what they said about the most perfect shape. They never told you it, but it is actually a sphere. Now, what's the black and white? I'm crossing over, but what's the black and white squares mean on a tiled floor? You go up to the eminent preceptor. Eminent preceptor, is the floor correctly tiled? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. That is an interface to another dimension, the black and white squares. That is where, on an energetic level, phase shift takes place.
Okay.
So when phase shift takes place and you create a charge, when you go through Jackin and Boaz is the main gateway. Jackin and Boaz is not the pillars. Jackin and Boaz is actually the spheres on top that are on top of the pillars. Now, when you enter there, you go through a gate. As you enter a doorway, as you know, you can sprinkle salt at the bottom of your door for protection, all right, or put a red line there. And then as you walk through, the people that are going to cause you harm won't come through, won't pass that line.
Right.
The people that are safe will come through and it'll be no problem. It's like an invisible barrier, okay? Well, this is the same thing. There's a charge that's created. Now, you're into magic and stuff like that. You'll know about talismans, etc. You know, protection symbols, sigil magic, rune stones and stuff like that, binding of runes, ritualistic magic. Well, when you cross over through past Jackin and Boaz, as you enter the tiled floor, when it's been correctly tiled and laid, what you're actually doing is changing your energetic pattern. If you add a crystal to you, say like someone was psychically attacking you, because you can cover psychic warfare as well, but say like someone's psychically attacking you, they've got your registration plate, if you like, to your energetic field. They can tap you and match you and do anything they want with you. What could you do to stop it? You can do the simplest thing. Literally get a crystal that alters your energetic pattern and just keep it in your pocket. You don't necessarily need to do anything else unless they're really proficient. You know, the
Do you think
basics.
that's why people are attracted to different crystals?
Yeah, because you've got something called kinesiology. When you're balancing your chakras, you've got crystals that will work with them chakras. Okay, so say like it might be weak in color or permanently open or permanently shut, or you have trouble opening it. You can get something called kinesiology. Now, kinesiology is to do with touch and movement, right? Because we all learn differently. We can all learn through look, listen, or touch. And some people can have a combination of all of them. Some people will learn better visually. Some people will better learn audibly. And, well, the way you do it with the crystals, if you want to measure it, is you stand up straight and then you keep one arm to the side of you at shoulder level, and you have a crystal put in your hand, all right? Then you have the other arm out at shoulder level, and then what happens is someone else will push that arm down, and all you've got to do is try and resist, all right? If you try and resist, and I don't mean super resist, but just lightly resist that movement of someone pushing your arm down, not the one with the crystal in, the one that's empty. If your arm goes down and you're resisting, that means it's the right crystal to you because it alters your equilibrium. So you're actually tuning the crystal to your energetic patterns. All crystals, if you like, even if you know nothing about the physical properties of crystals, they'll all work with you because you like the look of it. You're being attracted to it, laws of attraction and stuff like that, the energetic patterns. Right. So even if you don't know what you're looking at or you don't understand it, you just love the look of it, it will work for you in general, but you can make it doubly work for you if it was tuned to you.
That makes perfect sense, definitely.
So, I don't know. Where do you want to go for? Oh, yeah, but as I say, when you enter the tiled floor, the black and white tiles on the floor is actually is creating a phase shift. This is why when black and white is used it's used, and it can send you into it can send you into an altered state of awareness, i.e., a form of hypnosis or mesmerism, because it's actually without black, without white, you would have no other color. Black is one side, right? White is the other, and all the colors of the spectrum are in between. And sort of like, you know, as that moves, if you was to blink your eyes really quick, that would start to shift and give you an altered state of consciousness. Okay, so you're
Right.
almost self-hypnotizing. Now you've got something in the back of your brain called the RAS system, and this is what hypnotists work on, because hypnotism actually come out of the occult world, the occult realm, the hidden realm, because what was happening was the self-ego frequency was actually raising its vibrations, the earth frequency, and it was naturally opening people up, and then people were then becoming aware of hearing voices or seeing things all of a sudden, and people couldn't have that. So what happened was they released the occult mastery of hypnotism into the real world. That's how it comes about. Because there's a bloke called Mesmer, a French guy called Mesmer in Paris. Now, this is where the story of Count Cagliostro comes into play. Count Cagliostro was sort of like basically Romany, if you like, a gypsy, and they used to sell things at fairs, proper fairs back in the day. And what happened was it's sort of like a snake oil salesman. They were selling these elixirs to help you cure anything and everything, you know. They
Yeah,
were
of
just
course.
con artists. So what happened was Count Cagliostro, as he is known, is actually a Romany. He actually was doing his spiel and doing his patter about selling this product. It can cure anything. And there was a patsy in the crowd, meaning that there's a person in the crowd that was working with him and said
Right.
he had trouble seeing. And then that person come up and he drank the liquor. And all of a sudden the person can see. And then Count Cagliostro will say, right, who wants this medicine? Who wants this medicine? And basically everyone went, yeah, I'll buy it. And now they were creaming the money off. Well, in the bottles, all the bottles looked the same. One of the bottles, unfortunately, had caustic soda in it. Now, what happened was when people were buying these bottles, okay, there was obviously gentry and stuff like that at the back end of the scale because they were just looking on at the fair. And what happened was caustic soda was in one of these bottles. It got mixed up with this fake liquor, you know, with this fake medicine. And all of a sudden, this person guzzled it down in front of them, and he started screaming with this caustic soda burning his windpipe, and he was dying in front of these people, and they knew they were ruined if he died. And the other Romanists sort of like called Cagliostro over and said, "Do something, Count Cagliostro, do something." He was just normal Romany. He was nothing more. It was just a front end, the Count Cagliostro. It was just a front name, you know, to make
Right.
himself look important. So he come over, but he had this natural gift. This natural gift was animism and electromagnetism. Because his electromagnetism was so intense, he literally forced someone into a hypnotic state. He grabbed hold of their head. And how many times have you seen someone when they really mean something? You grab hold of their head and you look into your eyes and you say, "I'm not joking. You will do as you're told," you know, or something like that. Yeah. He looks
Right.
into this
Right.
guy's eyes and he says, "You feel nothing, nothing at all." And he sent this person into a state of mesmerization. And this is where the word mesmer comes from. To mesmerize someone is from mesmer, because Mesmer was the French guy that was actually a scientist, and he saw and witnessed Count Cagliostro do this working, right? And he was amazed. He couldn't believe. Now he knows as a doctor, this caustic soda was hurting this guy big time. So what happened was he couldn't understand how this guy could feel nothing after Count Cagliostro spoke to him. And what it was the electromagnetism, his auric field, his etheric field that was forcing. And this is where Crowley's law comes in, a thelema of the religion that he set up is love is the will, love under law. Love under will. Love is the law. Love is the law under will. All right. So what that's basically saying, will is everything. You can will something into your life. Okay. And the terminology on gematria, which is the Hebrew level of numerology, is actually 9393. So anyone that's a Thelemite or a Thelema, follow a philema is called a phelemite will actually greet each other as 93, because in gematria, the equation out for love and law is both 93 and will. And Mesmer took Cagliostro and studied him and replicated him. So basically, it's a form of NLP, neural linguistic programming. He watched him and saw what he was doing. Cagliostro didn't know what he did, and he didn't know how he did it. He didn't have that education level. He wasn't trained in it. It was just a natural innate ability that he had.
Right.
So what happened was Mesmer watched him and he copied him and he learned it. He learned the skill. And that's how mesmerization come about.
That's wild. That is so wild.
Hypnotism. Because you got something in the back of your brain called RAS, which stands for Reticular Activation System. Now, if you notice anyone that's ever had a sleeper hold done on them in MMA, martial arts, I do martial arts as well, or any hypnotism, what happens when they're knocked out with that sleeper hold and stuff like that, they always tap the back of the head, always the back of the head at the top of the neck. The reason being is because RAS is there. Now, RAS stands for Reticular Activation System, and that basically sends you into a state of delirium. So you're literally accessing that part of someone's mind where they're catatonic. You send them catatonic, and it's only when they're catatonic where you can hypnotize them. And then you bring them out of the catatonic state, and then they don't, the hypnotism does its business.
It's kind of up there when you were talking about that. It kind of made me think of like little things. Like with me, I can, type on a computer, obviously type on a keyboard, but if I let myself go, I can do it like really fast. But if I think about it, I'll have to kind of like,
Yeah. It's almost automatic. It's like automatic writing, isn't it? Oh yeah. But where I was going.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Where I was going with what I believe. I mean, we're going, everything's electric, right? You can disbelieve me or believe me. I've hopefully given you enough evidence to state the fact that things is electric in this universe, whether it's nature or not. So I believe they got to a state where the AI was locking them out. So if you look at Space Odyssey, that movie Space Odyssey, and HAL 209 or 309 or whatever he was called, the AI knew that the humans were going to shut him down. So what happens was he eradicated the humans. He sorted them out so they wouldn't do it.
Makes sense.
But they did manage it in the end. But so you think about it. If spirit's up there and they understand it and they're bringing up people to a level of consciousness, to a level of education, to a level of acceptance, and they're already technological, how could they do it? How could they connect with people? Well, you think the most famous, there was a lot of charlatans out there, but the most famous mediums, the most famous clairvoyants, clairsentients, and clairaudient people were actually in the 1900s. It was when there was no electric about. It was when everything was gaslit. So you got the Ouija board, right? If you had to, shall I say, tap into someone's electrical etheric energy, which would then control their nervous system, right? Which would then control muscles, which would then control hands, etc. Then you could move that planchette anywhere you want.
Definitely, yeah.
I believe the spirit got that situation of a Ouija board and the planchette out as a mouse and a keyboard, a very early version of a mouse and a keyboard. I don't know. What do you think to that?
Yeah, I could see that.
If they're already using a mouse and a keyboard in their time or in our projected future, okay, like we're moving a mouse and a keyboard now, can you see how that could overlay like an Ouija board as a mouse and a keyboard if there was no electric? How could you give someone a computer if the greatest computer that they had at that time was their mind? As a computational device was their mind, right? So if you basically hacked into their magnetic field at a spiritual level, then you've got the auto response, haven't you, to move the planchette to control someone as a remote system. Are you following me or not following me?
No, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
Because
Very
you've got an auto response system which will automatically carry over whether people believe it's their muscles subconsciously moving it, or if it's them moving it, or spirit moving it. You know, there's a debate there.
right.
So what I'm saying is it's being moved with your muscles, but without your knowledge.
Right.
If
I
you're
get
truly
that. I totally get that.
So they were trying to give what they've got to get the information across without
Right.
no electric. How could you do it? So this is why I perceive the Ouija board was originally the spirit board, the talking board, the witch's board, whatever name you want to call it, was a representation of a keyboard and a mouse.
It makes sense. It really does.
I'm not saying I'm correct, but
I had a
that's
question and then
right.
I lost it. Sorry. My night
That's all
box
right.
came up and I never pushed anything in it all of a sudden, so I'm confused about that. But I had a question. Now I can't remember exactly what it was.
It will come to you. It'll come to you. Don't worry. Let it go. Just let it go. It'll come to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be many other questions as well. But this is where I believe they're at, and this is where I believe the old ones are at. When I say the old ones, you know, in Greek mythology, it's done as Clash of the Titans. I mean, you had the situation of Kronos. Kronos was Saturn. Now, back in the day, Saturn was one of the leading ruling gods. You know, a lot of people believed in Saturn. If you look at Saturn from a distance, this is what covering the eye means, you know, in the Illuminati, because they're of the illuminated ones, the knowledgeable ones, is because from a distance, the rings around the planet Saturn actually looks like a shape of an eye, and the pupil is actually the black planet. Because Saturn, Kronos was that, and Kronos means time, like chronologue. This is the etymology of the word, the root of the word of chronologue comes from, which is time. And this is why the Grim Reaper was sort of like to do with death, because the Reaper of Souls, because it was going there. Now, Kronos in Greek mythology, he ate all of his children because he knew he was going to be superseded as ruler.
Yep.
Okay. So he didn't want that. So what happened was he ate all of his children, and he thought he ate all of them, but his wife put Zeus in a sack. Okay. But it wasn't Zeus. It was actually a rock. And he ate that rock and believed that he ate Zeus. Well, Zeus disappeared, okay, and come back when he was a grown man. So if you follow the Clash of the Titans and put that in it, so the original gods were the Titans. It was done in metaphor, in parable.
That cartoon.
Okay. Yeah. So it was done in metaphor and parable. The original gods were the Titans. Now, what happened was Zeus come back. Now, all the leading planets, all the ruling planets, now this ties in with Prometheus that gives us fire and stuff like that. This ties in with the Olympics. Every ringed planet is a ruling planet, was a ruling planet, was a god planet at some time in the world's history, the universe's history. So, so Zeus is Jupiter. Okay.
Right.
And that's a ring planet. Then you had someone that was so super clever, created Lord of the Rings. They put the story of the gods and the goddesses up in a different way, which gave you Lord of the Rings. So if you superimpose the Greek mythos into Lord of the Rings, you've got the true story.
Yeah.
Because the Olympic rings, when you go around the Olympic track, all right, this is why a lot of fraternities in America, especially America, because they don't have so many fraternities here. We do have them, but it's nothing like it's pronounced there. This is why it's always going to the Greek, because the Greeks were known as the knowledgeable ones. I mean, you had Pythagoras. Pythagoras was the first person to incorporate the pentagram on his hand. It was a secret symbol into his initiation secret society. And he was the one that come up with the sequence of three. He created the harp by creating these strings. The harmonies of three. He kept having one chord, turning it into three, cutting one bit off it, dropping it, and then adding it up. And as it went down, it created that effect. And this is where music comes into play with something called the circle of fifths, which is music theory. It's where a sound sounds good against another sound. See, everything's connected.
Definitely.
Everything is connected. So,
Now, do you
I don't
have a
know.
theory,
Where do you
or
think?
have you noticed that more people are kind of waking up and everything like that? And do you have a theory of why that is happening?
Yeah, it's because they're coming through more technologically. I'm going to go back to ITC now, instrumental transcommunication. Now, um, they're using the signals as a carrier wave. It's just like back in the day, telephone calls used to only go sort of like 5 minutes up the road because they didn't understand it. They need to send a current up there and a sine wave as a carrier wave. They're using the natural frequencies as carrier waves to get their information across through technological means, i.e., ghost boxing and stuff like that. But what happens is, I believe that the phase shift that I was on about to you before with the black and white is occurring, but it's acting like a strobe light. Have you ever been to a dance when you were younger and you were dancing and a strobe light went off and someone was super dancing fast and you watched them, it looked like they were going in slow motion?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, what it
It's
is,
funny when you were
it's
talking about
light.
that before, I was thinking
It's
about
light.
the house on Haunted Hill.
It's light that's breaking time. Okay. So light is breaking time. And if you're tuning a car, you'll have a strobe light on your car so you can set your timing right on your car. And what it's doing, it's breaking time so that it slows time down enough so that you can see it. Now, to a degree, metaphorically, I'm going to say superimpose that concept onto the ghost box. Where the ghost box is cycling so fast, it's acting like a strobe light to spirit, where it slows it down so it gives them a chance to talk through.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Are you following my concept, my analogy?
Definitely.
So just like a strobe light on a dance floor will make a fast dancer look like they're slow moving, or you can time a car what's spinning fast with a strobe light because it looks like it slows down time. It's not slowing down time. It's an illusion. It's a phase shift that occurs with light. It's an anomaly with light. Okay, so if you now what's light? Light is energy. Everything is energy. So let's transfer that concept, all right, but into sound. Because if you've got energy, then energy is creating friction. Friction is vibration and heat. Friction is also creating sound. So
Right.
sound is going to be the lowest denominator of the energetic field. So therefore, that's why spirit, I perceive, can come through because you're actually breaking time. So imagine you're going across walking on a pathway, and there's two pathways, and there's a factory the other side, say, and they've got a steel fence up, and that fence has got columns in its fence, yeah, equal standing columns. And as you're biking past, you hear someone's conversation, but you're only hearing snippets of it. Why? Because the sound frequency is coming through and you're traveling too fast. It's coming through the fence and you're only hearing little snippets of it or seeing slight pictures of them. But if you was to slow down that time scale of you walking past, you'll get to see more of a picture or hear more of the sound. And that's what I
Right.
perceive is happening when time is perceived to be slowed down. Because the more you speed, because you've got to know, you've got to believe, and hopefully you'll understand and agree with me, that when you're working with spirit light beings, are light-based beings, energetic beings. So they're cycling at a super high rate. So
Right.
therefore, you're never going to connect to them unless you raise your vibration. Spirit can only come down so far through meditation, development, etc. You raise your vibration up for opening your chakras, and then connection takes place, and then you can bring yourself back down. And spirit's still there. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So you bring your self down, you're back in your human body. You're compass mentis again, you're a normal human being, you're connecting. Whereas
Right.
when you channel, when stuff is coming through in a channeled manner, what happens is there's almost like a hardware lock connection that's made, and it doesn't matter whether you're awake or whether you've gone into meditation mode, that connection is still 110% connected. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like plugging in to the Wi-Fi for your network. Do you know what I mean? You just got that
Right.
solid connection all the time.
Now I have a question for you about because like you're talking about spirit box and Frank's box was actually made because he thought he was talking to aliens. He got
I
the
know, I know about Frank's box. Yeah, know
yeah
all about Frank's box.
yeah
He died of a
so
heart attack. Yeah, he was talking to the
yeah
purple people, he called them. He made it out of car radios. He was just a very kind, gentle, simple man, very clever, electronic genius. But he was the first one to bring it out of the Franks books. Yeah, you're correct.
Yep. Yeah. So he was told that he was getting the information from aliens. Now, do you think that is all, like, is that aliens and connected?
I think people's perceptions make it subjective. I think this is my opinion only. I can't talk for no one else. You know what I mean? But I believe they're all one and the same. I believe UFOs to aliens and stuff like that, whether you're talking dimensional or pan-dimensional, meaning they're cross dimensions and timelines, they're just different spirits. You know, they're all spirit. They're all coming from some source. People call that source God, or I call it source. I don't want to put a label on it. I work with many gods and goddesses, the pantheon of them, as I'm sure you perhaps do as well. You know, you call upon who you need, being pagan.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I can't define one God, because if there was one name God, who am I to say with the human mind that is the right God?
Right.
How could I accept in full magnitude that the power or the exuberance or the knowledge or whatever of what this thing is? So I just call it source. It makes it easier for me. Everything comes from source. But I believe they're one and the same, but at different levels. Just like you've got different levels of spirit. I mean, if you vibrated at the same rate as the table that your computer's on now that I'm tapping, right, your fingers will pass right through it.
Right.
And this is what I mean by phase shift. And to a degree, because spirit or stroke ghosts are operating at a different frequency, things that are solid in our world are not solid to them. So they can just walk through stuff. You know,
right?
It's
yeah,
like water to them. It's not even like water. They're not even registering it.
Very, very cool.
So, anything else you want to tax me on? I'm not asking for anyone to agree or disagree. In fact, I'll incline you to disagree with me, because then we can talk about it, and we can either agree to disagree, or we can agree that that's the way.
What I mean, unless anybody got a question in chat or anything like that, because with me, when you're explaining it, it's like I see what I'm hearing.
Does it sound familiar, Moon?
Information. Yeah, it sounds familiar to me. Like it makes sense.
Okay. So what does your all right? This is honest asking. Even I know you connect, but even if you wasn't connecting or whatever, there's something called gut feeling. Even if you don't connect, there's something that'll either say this guy's talking absolute tosh and rubbish, disregard it, metaphorically throw it in a bin, or I can take something from what it said. Can you? So what feeling are you getting with what I've spoke about today? You're welcome to disagree with me.
See, no,
that you might offend
my
me.
problem is well, it's not my problem, I should say, but I am very open to a lot of things, and people's opinions matter to me, and not matter to me. I like picking brains, and I like knowing what people think, but I've always been that way. So I've never, when somebody says that I'm something that I'm not used to or whatnot, I don't disprove.
Can you resonate with anything I've said though today?
Can I what? I'm sorry.
Resonate.
Yeah, definitely. I totally feel it.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, from what the word go, I definitely understand. Yeah, I never eat the brain. Freaky geek.
We've all got stuff to learn. As long as we're alive, we're learning, right?
Exactly.
And there's always, where I fail, others will succeed. What I don't know about, others will succeed, and then together we might be able to figure this out. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. That's the thing. That's why I like picking brains. That's why I like getting people's information, their perspective on things.
I mean, I think we're all going for our own personal journey, but I feel that there's also a group soul journey as well, as a species. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. And I
The
think that's why
subjective
I think a lot of times when, like, with me, I've had a near-death experience, and I think that's where my whole generalization of where whatever we believe in is when that's where we go when we pass on.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I completely, wholeheartedly agree. Heaven is what you make it, whatever you
Right.
believe your heaven is. I mean, I'm going to a computer game. That's where I'm going when it's my
Say that
time
again?
not to come back. I'm going to a computer game when it's my time not to come back.
There you
I'm
go.
going to live in that realm.
Oh, Michael has a question for you. What's your views on the
Right.
Watchers?
Sorry, Michael. The Watchers. Michael, are you coming from there's 2 points of view that I'm going to come from here. You may not be aware of it. You're on about the Bible Christian type Watchers, or you're on about the Enochian Watchers? The Enochian Watchers to do with the Enochian magical system, to do with Dr. John Dee and Edward Kelly.
Is that like the Watchers of the Tower? The Tower?
Yeah, the towers. Yeah,
okay.
You're correct. The Watchers. Right. How can I say this? A lot of the religions take from the same religions. They're all one and the same. The cherubim, the seraphim. You've got different levels, different hierarchical structures within the realms of spirit. And if you was to go back to the earliest form of connection of spiritualization, if you like, of the human species, you'd have to go to the shaman, of crossing realms, because the shaman will. I've got to a point in my mind. This is my belief system only. I'm not asking anyone to accept this. I don't believe in evil, and I don't believe in good. I believe in neutrality. I believe in. I don't believe in bad spirits or anything. The reason being is choice in intent. Intent is paramount to me. Okay, so you could use a knife to cut a slice of bread, or you could use it to hurt someone, right? Okay, what's the difference? It's your intent. So you can use all good things or bad things in a fashion, equal and opposite ways. You know what I'm saying? You could have someone passively be aggressive. They could come across, if you're in an office or something, and you told someone in confidence at smoke break that you're going through marriage troubles or something like that, God forbid, and then all of a sudden you go back into the office, and the guy that you spoke to all of a sudden says in the office out loud, cracks out a joke about someone having trouble in their marriage, and you think, you bugger, I know what you're doing, being passive aggressive. You know what I mean? It's a real shady way, shifty way to get at someone. Do you know what I mean? And hell is a state.
I agree.
I agree, Michael. Yeah, so there's many forms at which you can take it. But as for the Watchers, we're always being watched. All right, we're always being watched. Every spirit is a watcher. They know everything you do, you're gonna do, you think. This is how you have something. If you believe in the Akashic records, it's electromagnetic fingerprint, a book of records of everything that your life is planned out to do. And to a degree, Moon, this might upset some people, I hope not, but I don't. To a degree, I think that we don't have free will, and allow me to explain that. I think we have been given such a vast choice on the horizon. The horizon is so vast that we can't even perceive the amount of choice we've got, which makes us believe we do have free will. That's my perception.
I can understand that. I've
thought
about that.
I'm not saying you agree with me or not, but that's what I've come to believe myself, is that, free will is an illusion, just like everything else.
Right.
I
can see that. Like I said, I've thought about that too.
He said about Dr. John Dee. The Watchers and in to do with the Dr. John Dee Dr. John Dee was actually one of the most greatest minds in the UK back in his day. And he actually was the first person. He signed his name 007, believe it or not. He was the first intelligence, the first police, undercover police, if you like, of the Queen. And he used to sign his name 007. This is why 007 books and films have come about, because of his name. Now, he's a mathematician. He's a genius. And he used to, there's something called, not stigmata, it's to hide something. I'm trying to think of the word. Stig something it is. Steganography is the name.
Okay.
Steganography, it means encryption. All right. The earliest form of encryption before that was the Romans. When the Romans used to give information over to the riders to pass to other Roman legions, they used to have a certain diameter wooden dowel, and they used to wrap paper around it, and then they'd write the message on that dowel, but they wouldn't give the messenger the dowel, so that if he got caught, the message couldn't be decoded. So you had to have a certain diameter dowel to wooden pole to wrap the paper around to actually decode the message. What's freaky say? People have been losing the grip on free will over the years. Yeah, unfortunately, money is a great thing, you know, and money to a degree is wood. It's going plastic now, but it was wood, wasn't it? A lot of money was wood back in the day. Paper pulp come from wood, didn't it?
Right.
We're talking idols and stuff like that. But carrying on with Dr. John Dee, he was the first person to invent the sextant, which was navigation of the seas by stars. You know what I mean? He is a very clever man. He is one of the, you know, like if you look through time, why did these key people stand out? You had Aristotle, Socrates, Einstein, Pythagoras, Dr. John Dee, Newton. All these key people were head and shoulders above everyone else within their civilizations. You know, it's crazy. I believe that they were aviators to raise our understanding of vibration. And I want to say aviators, avatars, if you like, where, you know, someone made a decision in the spirit realm and said, look, we need to get these people out of this dark age, get them into the new age, the golden age. You know, this is why you had things like the French resistance change things around, you know, engineering changes. I mean, we've changed so much in the last 10 years, faster than any other decade ever, I think. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? The
I
past 10
agree.
years. You think where we're going to be in another 10 years? Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I
quick.
can't perceive it going as fast as it, like, I don't know. It feels weird to me because it feels like fast, but not like, I don't know. It's hard to describe how I feel about it.
It's almost spiral in nature, time for me. What do I mean by that? All right, let me explain. If you can, I'm going to ask you to visualize now. If you visualize a spiral, and it's sort of like starting off quite broad, and as you go in, it's like a record, and it goes in. So if you imagine how a record player plays, all right, and the arm is swinging across, and when it reaches the end of the record, it goes in. That's how I perceive my time in my life to be. It started off when you were younger. 6 weeks school holiday break used to last forever. But now 6 weeks goes in a flash when you're an adult. You know, I mean, I'm 48, right? So I'm 49 this year. So therefore, time is really getting quick because it's almost like I'm halfway through the record. So this record's spinning a lot quicker and the needle's getting to the end of the record a lot faster. But when it started off with the record was still spinning at the same rotational rate, but it was going slower because the record was broader, was wider, you know, on its diameter, on its dimensional.
I could totally get
you something while we talk. Speak to you about something. I'll give you something else. Mathematics. You may not have even considered this. You might have done. Moon. They gave me information that actually gives me a mathematical sequence to why the pentagram is involved within the circle. All right. Now, I'm sure you've heard of a Gaesha, yeah? The 72 demons of the Gaesha, or 72 angels, demon to one, angel to another. It's horses for courses.
Right.
All right. So you've got 72 angels in the Geisha. You've got 72 virgins in there for Allah. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. So 72 is a key number. Now, if you take 360, divide that by 72, you've got 5. Okay. That gives you the 5-pointed pentagram star within the circle. You know, that blew my mind when they gave me that information. So they're actually telling me in mathematical form how the process works. Now, I believe in Kepler's theory of how the world is platonic solids nesting inside each other, a bit like the Russian dolls nesting inside each other, the small doll and the bigger doll and the bigger doll and the biggest doll.
Right.
And that's what I believe the dimensional levels are like. I believe many, if not all of the dimensional levels that we contact are actually within our same dimension, just oscillating and vibrating at a different frequency. So say like you had a radio, to help you understand, you had a radio and it's on FM, say, and you had it on 96.1. If you flick that band switch to medium wave or AM, yeah, which is the same thing, amplitude modulation or modulation wave, depending on how you look at it, it's still the same waveform.
Right.
What will happen is you're still on 96.1, you just change your frequency,
Right.
which is
Right.
again phase shift. Everything's pointing back to phase shift all the time. So you're just shifting your energetic patterns into a different realm. But I believe like Kepler, you know, where all realms are all in one, and we're just switching between, you know.
Right. Yeah. I I totally get that. Yeah. See, comprehension wise, I understand the nesting dolls and all that, but
Mhm.
but I can't just, I don't know, comprehend.
Well, the thing is what I'm saying is you lost your voice. I can't hear your voice. Why can't I hear your voice?
I'm still here.
Oh, you're there. You're there. I hear you now.
Okay, good.
What did you just say?
That I like can't like my imagery in my mind. I can't do the nesting dolls.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Well, all right. Well, what I'm saying with the 5-point star, the reason sort of like that was come to me in a mathematical form is because they were telling me that you can go through the platonic solids, which is sort of like the shape of the dimensional realms in its geometric pattern at lowest level denominator, if you're talking simulation theory mathematics.
Right.
So you can access them, and that allows you through, and that allows them out. So it's not only a way in for you, but it's also a way out for them. You know, when you do a casting, when you're doing invoking, a working circle,
Mm-hmm.
when you banish it, when you close it, so you shut the door. To invoke someone is to bring someone through. To evoke someone is to send someone back or something back. Yeah. So
Right.
working on that principle, you're going to bring something through from another dimension. Well, that seems the perfect shape because it will give you a hexagonal shape, which is the same shape on Saturn with the square. The square is the important thing because a hexagon is 6 sides, right? Well, a 6-sided hexagon, all right, will actually give you a square because it's got 6 sides. You just got to fill in the invisible lines. It's like the number 11. The number 11 is actually 3. It's the invisible gateway that you can't see, which is the in-between one,
That
the
makes
invisible
sense.
door. When you got 1 and 1 either side, imagine Jackie and Boaz again. 1 and 1 either side, 2 pillars. You walk through the center, don't you? When you walk through a door in a house, you got 2 sides to that door, and you walk through the center. When you got 11, magical number, you got 2 sides. You walk through the central door. This is the same sort of like with mystical Kabbalah, where you've actually got the tree of life, but you've also got the tree of death. You go through Darth, and the Sephiroth means sphere. So this also backs up why the sphere is so important. Because 007 is actually, if you looked at it, you've got to remember D was a into cryptography, all right? So therefore, all of his stuff was cryptographic. It was all encoded, all right? And a lot of the alchemists back in the day used to encode their books as well, so they couldn't give out the philosopher's stones, etc. So what
Right.
they'd do, they'd write it in code. Now, 007 isn't 007. Look at it another way. You've got two circles and a 7. It's not a 7. It's actually a square root. So 2 pi r squared, pi, because of the 2 pi r squared, okay, will give you the surface area of a disk. 4 pi r squared will give you the surface area of a sphere. You got to remember of the time when they were about with their knowledge and understanding, they only saw things in one dimension. Now, what changed it about when the Enochian language come out, the lexicograph language, the full alphabet, if you like, of the Enochian language, it was actually a real language. It could be spoken and it could be decoded. The way it could be decoded was if you put a crystal ball in the center and drew all the Enochian symbols around it, it will decode it for you because of the way your vision works, because you actually see things upside down and back to front. Now, what happens when you look at a sphere? This is what Escher done with his optical illusions, and this is what abstract art is about, so that it actually makes your mind more malleable, more plastic, so that you can mold it and shape it, and you can perceive these perceptions. And this is like engineering, if you like. If you know someone in engineering, someone could say, oh, I can't visualize that. I've got to see it in real life. Well, an engineer will be able to build that in his mind.
Right.
Before he's built it. Do you know what I mean? So you're looking at third projection, isometric angles and stuff like that. Yeah. So everything's leading back again to mathematics at lowest denominator. See you, Diva. Sleep well.
Sleep well, Dave.
Oh yeah, yeah, Michael. Black cubes is very important. I mean, even at the UN, you've got a place where they've got a massive black cube there, but it's an abstract form. It's almost not what's the word called? Trapezoid. It's a trapezoid shape. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I haven't heard that word in a while.
Well, you got the Order of the Trapezoid as well within the occult realm. I don't know if you've heard of them. And the Order of the Purple Flame.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, you've got many orders. There's many people out there, but it's following the magical workings, you see. I mean, the best, if someone's into, I mean, I don't know whether you've heard of him, but if someone's into ceremonial stuff and sort of like a real good craft that will teach you properly and permanently, you know, there's a guy called Franz Barden. Search out Franz Barden. He does the initiation into hermetics, and he's got 3 books. He's dead now. He's been dead many years, but he's an amazing master magician, a proper magician. Look at Franz Barden. Search him up. If you can look at him now, if you want, type in Franz Barden on anything, initiation and hermetics and stuff like that.
Right.
Spell FRANZ space BARDON. Franz Barden. See you, Freaky.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Excellent guy. If you're interested in growing in any way in your system, that will help you. Excellent.
Yeah, I will definitely check that out.
They're working books. They're not story books. They're proper working books.
Take care, Freaky. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I will definitely. I'm gonna.
He is an excellent read, and they're not storybooks. They're literally proper working books, man.
Right.
It will escalate you in your belief system, your working system. I'm sure you'll be able to take something from it anyway.
And I like that. That's why I research a lot.
You never stop learning, never. And there's
That's
always
right.
someone who knows
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I thank you so much. I unfortunately I have to run. I have to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully I haven't bored you or nothing like that, or the room. Thank you for having me up, and I'll catch you.
Oh, I appreciate you coming up. I would definitely. Damn, I'd love for you to be my co-host. Hell. But
I'll drop down and let you carry on what you got to do. Thank you very much for having me up, though. And,
I appreciate it.
If you can take anything from me, take it. If you think it's all rubbish, just metaphorically throw it in the bin. It doesn't matter either way. All right.
No,
Thank you
I
very
think
much.
it needed, what you said has gotten to the people that needed to hear it. I learned a lot today just from that little segment. I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm right there with Michael. I resonated.
Thank you, people in the chat. Thank you. Anyway, I'll drop down now. Cheers. I'll let you finish off what you got to do.
All right. I appreciate
Very
it
kind
so
of you.
much for you coming up here. We'll definitely have to do this
Rob,
again.
I'm gonna greet you in the proper sort of like a witchy way now. I'm gonna say bright blessings to you on this merry meet. Okay.
Marry me until we marry me again.
Until we meet again. All right. You take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you, White Wolf. Well, guys, I mean, that was so cool. I appreciate White Wolf coming up so much. That was just very, very cool. I thank you so much for coming up. With that being said, guys, I'm going to get going. I have to go get ready for work, of course. On Saturdays and Sundays, you guys know I don't stream, but I'll be back here Monday for Monday musings, paranormal talk. And, you guys, any of you guys are always welcome to come up. I appreciate everybody that has come in today to chat. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. White Wolf, again, thank you so much for coming up. That was so much fun. And definitely resonated a lot. Definitely. So with that being said, you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again. I love you guys. Of course, look out for the video. I'll be making it this week, or the weekend, over the weekend, about the giveaway. And we'll talk to you soon. All right. I'll see you guys around the different chats. And definitely come back Monday. Love you guys. Take care. Have a great weekend. Till next time, guys.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me,